Hello, this is Crystal Racing with some fantastic news. Kevin Magnussen will be returning to Formula One next season. Of course, as we all know, Nikita Mazepin has been kicked out after, of course, the sanctions that have been put on him and by his father by the EU, as well as, of course, numerous sanctions on all the oligarchs linked to Vladimir Putin. Let's be frankly honest, when the news broke out about the invasion from 2 weeks ago, it was always a matter of whether or not if Nikita Mazepin was going to get kicked out. I'm absolutely delighted that Kevin Magnussen's back because I felt like he should have never been dropped in the first place. You know what they say? God is God. God is real. God exists. Okay, I'm joking, but honestly, I was so happy when I heard the news. It was music to my ears. Finally, we get to see Mick Schumacher get put against a reliable barometer instead of course, making us sit there and think, oh, he must be good because he's outpacing Mazepin by half a second every week. Well, up against Kevin Magnussen, it's not going to be an easy ride for young Mick anymore. Oh no, oh no. For those of you wondering about the financial situation, since of course Haas pretty much were forced into dropping the Ural Caddy sponsorship, which of course was the only reason Mazepin was there in the first place. Haas's financial situation is pretty fine, although of course losing the Ural Caddy money has slashed 20% off their budget. Not the most ideal thing ever, but that's life. What can I say? I mean, of course, Mazepin never deserved a place in Formula One in the first place. Numerous incidents off the track, including him insinuating that George Russell was secretly homosexual, alleged racist insults against Ganyu Zhou and Yuki Tsunoda in the past, something about him saying something about the virus from Wuhan. And of course, how can I punching Cannabilo, losing his rag all the time, getting really angry to the point where there was a clip from Netflix where Gunther Steiner said, stop getting angry with the engineers. They're scared of you. We're trying to help you close the gap to Mick Schumacher, but all you do is just keep getting angry all the time. And of course, how can I forget the fact he filmed a video of himself groping a woman's breast on Instagram? I mean, of course, the act itself was incredibly disgusting, but the fact he uploaded the video onto Instagram is even more extraordinary. I do not even understand why on earth you do that. But, here we are, Nikita Mazepin is out, thank goodness. I don't want to ever talk about him again. Of course, he also announced that he was going to open a charity called, almost comically called, We Compete as One, which when I heard of it, I burst out into laughter, if I'm going to be frankly honest. Just kind of unbelievable, but, that really is it. And, I mean, apparently it's going to be there to help Russian athletes who cannot compete, who can't get funding, since of course they're going to be barred from a lot of events. There was that controversial incident at that gymnastics event not so long ago of that young Russian athlete wearing a Z over his Russian national team outfit. Of course, the Z is literally to denote Russian military. But of course, it's also being used as a support symbol for what Russia's doing in Ukraine, because of course Vladimir Putin and the Russian media insist to their own people it's a special operation. Very iffy, very, very, very cunning manipulation of language there. As for testing, yeah, I know you want to know about that. I mean, I think Red Bull and Mercedes are still on top. Ferrari look very strong, but they're not acting as if they're going to be joining the fight anytime soon. I think the running order is probably more or less of what it was like from last year, to be honest. I don't think there's any real changes, so hence why I've not commented on testing so far this year. Kevin Magnussen, on the other hand, is going to need some desperately much needed testing time after having spent a year away, and of course needs also brand new cars, where of course, which of course for the first time in 40 years will feature ground effect. And of course, the teams have been complaining about porpoising, which is where the car starts bouncing up and down at high speeds, which is something that the teams have not really have had to deal with for many years in Formula One. Um, on a serious note, Mazepin, I mean, frankly, the kid should have never been allowed to drive in F1 in the first place. His driving skills aren't good enough as a person, a complete PR disaster. And of course, but having said that, though, we should not forget that in a few weeks' time, we are going to be racing in Saudi Arabia after Bahrain, which of course Bahrain itself has also had human rights issues. Yes, F1 of course also announced that the Russian Grand Prix was going to get cancelled pretty much a day after the invasion happened. And of course, and then later on, they admitted the whole contract was cancelled, meaning that they won't even have races there anymore. So, but of course, F1, I really do feel like F1 has behaved mostly in a similar manner to the Football FIFA Association. They're mostly doing this too, since, of course, the whole international community has turned against Russia at this point. And, of course, really, what else is there for me to say? So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.